Thank you very much, Permanent Secretary Hodge. Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Harris, I must declare to you as well that I'm seeing some of those things you saw in your crystal ball. In saying that, fellow colleagues, I declare to you this morning, teachers will get a new deal under my leadership. Earlier, I stepped out and I ran up to Government House to witness the swearing-in ceremony of my junior minister who will be working with me in the ministries of youth empowerment, social development, gender, aging, and disabilities. It therefore means that I will spend more time in education. To the organizers of this morning's event, I think it would be fair for me to put you on the spot and book the St. Kitts Marriott for next year's opening of school. Seeing my teachers standing, it is clear that we have outgrown. Here we thank Prophetess and the entire team for the many years, but it's a new deal next year. In addressing protocol, please allow me to recognize Your Excellency Michael Lin, Ambassador of the Republic of China, Taiwan, Mr. Vincent Hodge, our Permanent Secretary in the ministry, and I thank him for his guidance thus far. And I think this is a fitting time to indicate that in a few days, I will be announcing a new permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education who will work alongside with P.S. Hodge. Dr. Tricia Esdale, Senior Assistant Secretary, Ms. Stacy Gomes, Personnel Officer, Mrs. Emily Mills, our guest of honor, Mr. Delvin Mike, Vice Chair of the CFBC Board of Governors, Mrs. Liberd Edward, Vice President of Finance and Administrative Affairs of CFBC. I recognize you and I thank you for all of the work that you're doing thus far with our special announcement of all of our students attending CFBC will be attending for free. To Miss Lena Charles Hazel, my dearest youth, you guys just keep me going. An awesome presentation this morning. Mr. Francil Morris, Chief Education Officer, my good brother, other senior officials of the Ministry of Education, Mrs. Lisa Pistano, Deputy Chief Education Officer, Mr. Woodley, Senior Education Officer, Ms. Alicia Collins, principals, deputy principals, teachers, head teachers, which this year will be the last. We are referring to teachers in primary school as head teachers. Everybody will be referred to as principals. To our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Prophetess, our former Chief Education Officer, always a pleasure to be with you. Colleagues, good morning. Good morning. Colleagues, good morning. Good morning. Annie Duncan, the 9th U.S. Secretary of Education, stated, and I concur, education is a right, not a privilege. It's an opportunity, not an entitlement. This powerful statement clearly summarizes and articulates some of my own beliefs about education. Most importantly, colleagues, the quality of education available to our citizens is vital and directly linked to the development of this great federation. This means that you, our educators, are and forever will be one of the main driving forces behind national development. Therefore, it is with great sense of pride and honor that I serve as your Minister of Education. I think my personal story, passion for education, and love for teachers are all well known. I've been extremely fortunate to have been taught by some great stalwart teachers to whom I credit my success. In addition, I firmly believe that teachers are masters of their craft, making them poised to positively influence the education landscape. This being said, our annual summer workshop opening ceremony not only signaled the start of a new academic year, but a renewal to our commitment to remaining lifelong learners. At this juncture, let me take this opportunity to officially welcome you back to the 2022-2023 academic year and wish you every success in your professional and personal endeavors. It would be remiss of me if I did not acknowledge the work of those who have gone before. My profound thanks is expressed to the former Minister of Education, Honorable John L. Powell, for his tireless efforts over the past 2 years. I hope to have an opportunity to engage him in discussion in the near future, as also with the Honorable Troy Liberd of Nevis. Through all the changing scenes of life, in trouble and in joy, this line from Charles Wesley's popular hymn aptly summarizes the highs and lows experienced by our fraternity over the past year. Our ministry has been severely impacted by the passing of some of our colleagues and students. It is with a deep sense of loss that we remember all of them, and I ask that you keep their families in your prayers. May the souls rest in eternal peace. Principals and teachers of the respective schools, I encourage you to memorialize them so that their contributions will never be forgotten. Despite these difficult experiences, we have had cause to celebrate with our colleagues who have retired or transitioned to new posts. To our retirees, you have given so much of your time, energy, and skill to this great fraternity, and we are ever indebted to you. I join with Mr. Hodge to thank those officers for their years of sterling service. I would also like to recognize those among us who have been promoted. Mr. Virgil Jeffers is now the Director of Gender Affairs. Mrs. Jamila Bristol Brown is a new head teacher of Beach Allen Primary School. Mr. Javon Cannonier has assumed the post of deputy head teacher at the Keon Primary School. Ms. Yulukia Bryan has accepted the post of Deputy Head Teacher at the Date Bay Primary School. Congratulations on your new post, and I am certain that you will make an indelible mark on our nation's children and the wider community. Colleagues, as you know, the Ministry of Education is very dynamic, and for the past 4 years, the education sector plan has been our guide. This plan has outlined a process of continued development undergirded by clear policies, goal to which my mandate clearly aligns. As a ministry, our focus for 2022-2023 academic year will be on providing every child equitable access to quality education in a safe, child-friendly environment. Therefore, on my list of priorities are: 1, the rebuilding of the brand new Bastia High School, the complete renovation of the Joshua Obadiah Williams Primary School, the reintroduction to the one-to-one laptop program with the prerequisite policies in place. Teachers, you too will be provided with the necessary tools to do your work. 4, the strengthening of the technical and vocational education and training by ensuring that students are certified at the end of their training period. 5, free tuition for those who are accepted into CFBC. This goal has already been realized, as tertiary education should no longer be a luxury enjoyed by a few, but accessible to persons who wish to elevate themselves. 6, teachers will also have great opportunities to be trained in specialist fields. And 7, no return work preparation. The electronic version will be here. Colleagues, education is the core of every great society, and it's the vehicle by which citizens are able to elevate themselves. Therefore, it is critical that we as educators begin to reimagine education so that we can adequately prepare our students to successfully maneuver the turbulent waters of life. Our scope for education and the lens through which we view education must be wide enough to encompass pre-kindergarten to college and factor in both public and private institutions. If we are to truly live by the motto of this great federation, then country above self, in its true context of education, means that the environment must be one of inclusion and collaboration. We owe it to the nation's children. With this being said, I expect the Ministry of Education will make decisions directed by data, and that our officers will be advocates, thereby helping blaze a trail for all other ministries to follow. I repeat, we will be the leading ministry in this. Just as Virchil's High proclaims to be the bright star in the West, the Ministry of Education must be the bright star in the Federation. As a ministry, we must lead by example and consistently nurture the persons in our care. These past 2 years have been very demanding on you, and we have had to make some changes with the focus on safeguarding the health of our students and staff. COVID-19 still exists, and the negative effects of it should still be taken seriously. Each day, colleagues, scientists discover more about the virus, and our government, and by extension the Ministry of Education, will be guided accordingly. Therefore, For this new academic year, our work hours for teachers within the public primary and secondary school will revert to 8:25 a.m. to 3:30. I expect by 8:25 a.m. every teacher, I expect by 8:25 a.m. every teacher will be in their respective classrooms ready to start their day. Effective time management and consistent modeling of expectations are some of the trademarks of an excellent teacher. Therefore, just as we expect our students to arrive to school before the bell, ready to learn, so we too must arrive to school early, prepared to teach and guide the students in our care. Our schools must be institutions where both teachers and students are nurtured mentally and emotionally. Places where we continue to work together to build stronger bonds of mutual respect and understanding. It is my dream that this network will be a collaborative one where together we can reimagine education and be strategic in our planning to create viable options for our students, thereby ensuring that our students are ready to seize the numerous opportunities being offered in this 21st century. Our journey towards professionalizing the teaching force will continue so that our educators can finally receive the recognition within the professional community that they deserve. Also, I envision the revamping of our professional development model to incorporate a system by which training throughout the year is recognized. However, as we make changes to our system, we must have a clear vision on how and when it will be done. We can no longer steamroll change into existence, for as we know, lasting change takes time and acceptance by those who will benefit most. We are therefore charged with the responsibility of re-examining the system and creating a roadmap for improvement before we can layer on any more changes. Colleagues, I pledge my unwavering support and dedication to you and assure you that I will be a champion for this great fraternity. Having said all of this, it is with great pleasure, mixed with emotions, that I officially open our 2022-2023 academic year. Once again, thank you for your sterling service, and may God continue to bless you and your families. Again, thank you very much, and teachers, you will get a new deal.